So that was the ascending slur study from my primary studies for guitar, which is available for sale through Amazon. See the link below for that. Obviously, it's a study that concerns itself with the ascending slur. You can also look at more basic slurring exercises in my lesson number 3, part 3, which also discusses the ascending slur. Slurs, both ascending and descending, I think are really good measurements of how you're doing with left-hand positioning issues. Simply put, if your slurs are easy and they sound good, your positioning is probably pretty good. If your slurs are difficult and they sound bad, there's probably something going on with your positioning as well. In a nutshell, what we're talking about with our left-hand positioning is we want to be in such a position that our elbow is down, we're not involving any of the muscles in our shoulder and neck, that kind of thing, to do the work for us. So that the elbow is down, we want the wrist to be flat, and we want the third and the fourth fingers to be curled. If that's happening, things are probably pretty good. We also don't want to be squeezing the heck out of the neck, and that's something really important to keep in mind with slurs, because it's very easy to fatigue the hand and make it very difficult to move if there's a lot of squeezing, a lot of forearm action going on. So with the ascending slur, I always like to think of it as it's the same action in terms of the left hand movement that I would be making if I weren't slurring. So for example, what I was just doing was not slurring, playing every note. So I want to try to make the action of my left hand as similar as I can to what it would be just putting the finger down. I suspect that I probably am moving a little bit more quickly and maybe a little bit more force, but if I tell myself to make the same action, it works out much better. So what I want to avoid doing is anything that involves like a big wind up, a lot of movement of the arm and the hand, and something where I'm trying to really impart a lot of force onto the string. For that reason, I don't really care for the term hammer on, because I think it gives the impression that it requires a lot of force, and it just doesn't. The other thing, and this is something that I think is important to keep in mind with both the ascending and the descending slurs, is that the activity should take place just at the fingers. So you notice that when I'm doing the ascending slur, my arm and my hand are very still, so there's not a lot of movement in the arm and the hand. It's very, very still. Again, just trying to put the finger down with the same action that I would if I weren't making the slur. In addition, with the ascending slur, it's important to keep in mind that the volume of the second note of the slur is entirely dependent on how loud we play the first note. So if you think, my slurs don't sound very good, they're very soft. Well, they're not going to be louder than the first note. So you want to make sure that there's some energy still in the string by the time the slurring finger gets ready to do its thing. There are basic slur exercises available in my beginning lessons. Obviously, if you want to increase the challenge for your slur exercises, you can do such things as combine them with string crossings. And so on and so forth. And you can do that with whole step slurs, half step slurs, or even like 1 and 4, which, you know, is of some limited usefulness, but if you like to do a lot of exercises, you might as well throw that in there as well. Slurring along a string is something that can be fun to do as well, and it allows you to practice your slurs in the context of adding shifting, which is really good to make sure that there's not a lot of pressure on your thumb. Doing things where you hold 2 strings down, or 2 fingers down on other strings, and do slurs on different strings. Those are also good exercises to build coordination.